So you just... Oh, I don't have permission. Right, we are about to get underway for the inaugural ESRL Sprint Championship. We got, I think, 13 or 14 drivers today for the first race of the season, which is a decent haul, and I'm sure it's going to make the reverse grids quite a spectacle. But I do expect NER Ayrton to be in first place after lap 1 on every reverse grid race.
Yeah, I wouldn't put it past him at all. He's just so quick. I think every time he's. I remember, was it Canada? He started at the back, and I think he won that race, or he finished on the podium. I can't quite remember. It was a little while ago. But
yeah, that was Baku.
Baku, that was it. Yeah,
and he won the race.
But Silverstone this evening, what a circuit that is built on an airfield, home of British motor racing, and the home of Aston Martin Formula One team for the moment.
Absolutely, it's an iconic circuit, home to a lot of iconic corners and straights. It's got one-shot qualifying underway. I'm going to ride on board with Major De Sola for this one-shot quali as he comes into turn 1 and goes far too deep immediately, and in fact breaks off. So we're going to go follow someone else. Let's follow Lifebout, shall we? I'm sure he'll love that. So Lifebout coming through sector 1. Let's enable all of this. Alright, so we've got Lifebout coming through towards a tricky section of the track. You've got to get that perfect, and remember, elite settings, so no racing line. It's always difficult, but he comes around well. He's currently in P3, but Rick is currently P1 at the moment. Obviously Ayrton has backed off because he's down in P12. As Lifebout comes through, cops, and oh, he's lost it. He's properly lost it. He nearly saved the car. So I'm going to ride on board with the current leader of the pack. It's Rick. He's coming through Max and Beckett's now. Through Beckett's, very clean from him. Ayrton 2, by the way, is P2. The two Ferraris, Rick and Simps, are 1 and 3 right now. Here comes Rick up towards Stowe. You've got to get this right. You've got to brake and then come down and not invalidate. Rick nearly does exactly that, but lifts off just enough. He's still in P1 for now, but is it going to be across the line? He comes through. No, Simps has overtaken him, but it's going to be really close up to the line. Who takes it? It's Rick. Takes pole position by 300ths of a second from his teammate Simps. It's a Ferrari 1-2. Womax is P3. Amir P4 on the medium tyres. So he's one to keep an eye on as well. And first one-shot quali, it's the Dutchman, Rick, and he is as shocked about it as everyone else is, I think, in the chat. What a brilliant lap that was from Rick, who is self-professed. This is one of his worst tracks, he's said repeatedly, but he goes on to pole position in ESRL sprints. Simps, P2, his teammate, and Womax with a wonderful P3, Amir in P4, and on the medium tyres, so keep an eye on him. Ayrton 2 in P5, then Tia in 6th. Motiprets, Avi, and Scaparo finish out the ones who finished their laps, and then Lifebout, Scott, Major, Ayrton, and Lostock, all unable to set lap times. So be prepared to see Ayrton fight his way all the way up the grid.
Yeah, Ayrton, I don't know, I think he looked like he was going fairly slowly when I was riding on board with him for a little while, perhaps just wanting to go last to first, or perhaps he had an incident in Maggots and Beckett's. I don't know, it's very weird switching the camera view in one-shot qualifying, because you kind of
Yeah.
blackout and into the next sort of driver perspective. But it's a 13 lap race. It'll be soft to medium, medium to soft in the case of Amir and anybody outside of the top 10 who didn't qualify on the soft tyre. And undercut's fairly strong around here from what I remember.
Yeah, it can be because of the incredibly long pit lane.
Mm.
So yeah, be prepared to see drivers come in early, but the tyre saving is extremely kind around here. So I don't think the mediums are actually going to be that big of an advantage to start on them. So I don't know. I don't know if that's the correct choice from Amir. Let's have a look at the tyres that they've put on. So
Ayrton and
Amir,
Lostock as well.
yeah, both Ayrton and Lostock on the mediums, so they're going to be soft to the end. But I honestly don't think that it's that big of an advantage. Whenever I've gone on the softs, or started on the mediums at Silverstone, and then gone on to the softs, I haven't been that much faster than everyone else. So yeah, we'll have to see. I'm sure Ayrton will buck that trend, and Lostock is very quick as well on his day. So it's going to be interesting to see.
Yeah, it certainly is. The tyre wear, as I think we said many times before around Silverstone, is virtually non-existent. So there's not a lot of difference between the two compounds of tyres. So, like you say, I don't think starting on the mediums is going to yield the results the drivers want. But I believe the next race is reverse grid. So, I mean, if you finish at the back, at least you guarantee yourself pole position.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll have to read back up on the rules. I don't think it's exactly the same as our rules for APP F1 Sprint. I think they start every race is a reverse grid of the championship standings.
Ah,
So obviously they needed a one shot to set the grid this time. But after this, I think every single race is going to be a reverse grid of the current
okay.
standings. So yeah.
That's a decent way to do it then. So,
Yeah, all reverse grids. We've got Womack's obviously raring to get up to the grid, and also Simps, who has for some reason gone off about 17 miles ahead of everyone else, and is already lining up in his spot on the grid as Womack's comes around the last corner.
we certainly sorry about lost commentary stream. You warmed me out. So
No
lining up on the
worries.
grid now. Car number 15. That is Rick, your pole sitter, getting ready to go for 13 laps around Silverstone. What a circuit we've got for a sprint race, and what an opener this could be.
Here we go. 3, 4, 5 red lights. And we're underway for the inaugural ESRL Sprint Championships. A fantastic start from Rick. What a start from the Ferrari. Simps just nowhere near him. That's really unlikely. Not one to get really good starts usually. Simps follows on behind with Womax as well. Tier up to P4 trying to challenge Amir for that position. There's carnage further back. That's Major De Sola getting involved, and Scott as well going for a spin. We've got a 5-second penalty for Lostock, so clearly he must have been involved as well. We're going to watch Tier as he comes down trying to challenge Amir for P4. Of course, remember Amir starting on the medium, so he's disadvantaged here. Ayrton already up to 9th place with Ayrton 2 trying to defend from Avery. We've got Rick losing out to his teammate actually as they go through here side by side up towards Copse. Surely not. Two Ferraris in towards Copse side by side. What's going to happen? It's Simps goes deep. I think that's Simps. No, it's Rick who goes deep, and he has to concede to Simps in the end. No contact. Very well done, boys, as Womax tries to get in contact with these two as well. Amir keeping with them on those medium tyres. I'm going to switch to the tyres. The tyres. Where's the tyres? There. As the two Ferraris go side by side yet again in towards Stowe, and Rick takes the position back. Simps trying to go all the way around the outside but unable to. Womax keeping these two honest as well. Can Simps get into P1 yet? The two Ferraris still battling. No team orders here in ESRL as Simps tries to stay with his teammate. Fastest lap for Rick, of course, but we're coming into, it's only lap 2, Sumo. I can't believe it.
Yeah, there's been a lot of action already. There's a few drivers diving into the pits. Those are the guys who have got caught up in that incident just now. The likes of Lifeboat, Scott and Lostock all making unplanned pit stops. That's not going to help them out at all. Trouble is with going side by side from Cop's corner is you both sacrifice your run through that corner at a lot of speed. So Womax, you saw as they came into the Maggots Beckett's complex, Womax really closed up on these guys and has been able to stay with them, and that's the trouble with battling with one another as well. And Rick's doing a good job to keep his teammate behind. We've got Major DeSola off at Brooklands there. He's had a little bit of maybe a contact or a spin, but he'll be getting himself back into this race. No damage on that Williams as he gets a little bit of a tank slapper out of Luffield.
Yeah, Womax staying with the Ferraris right behind them, practically pushing Simps through Maggots and Beckett's. I've raced with Womax before on elite settings on this track. He is really good at this track, so don't be surprised to see him challenge for the lead. That's
I think his
major again.
His tyres are very warm. I think he's gone into Cop's corner and has had a spin. I know exactly how that feels, but I was in the lead when that happened to me. So
we've got Avi into the pit. Sorry to interrupt you, Sumo. So he's going for the undercut, or maybe he's gotten some damage. Rick sets the fastest lap straight away. Amir is still sticking with the top three. Remember, not much difference between the softs and the mediums. DRS now enabled, so we're going to see some overtakes being made, I'm sure. Womax goes a little bit deep.
Down the inside. Sorry to cut you off, guys. He's went right down the inside of Moxie Perez into the, I believe, turn 2 it was. He's got the place up and he moves up to a P7, 6 places gained already.
Yeah, that's the move done from Ayrton. He's making his way through the field like we predicted. The two Ferraris and Womax still in single file, with Amir trying to keep on contact, and Tier as well is going to come under pressure from Ayrton too if he loses out to these top three, as Simps now still right behind his teammate. Are they going to go side by side into Cops again? Surely not. No, Simps comes back onto the racing line, but he's now going to challenge his teammate into Maggots again. Surely not. No, he backs out again, and Womax has to back out as well to avoid hitting the Ferrari, and they're going to be nose to tail, all four of them up towards this DRS zone. Look at the exit that Womax got out of Beckett's as Rick pulls to the outside straight away to try and do this, but Womax is going to be boxed in here, nearly hits the Ferrari as he tries to cut to the inside, but realizes just in time that that he's not going to be able to, and Simps locks up for I think that's Vale, isn't it? As Amir comes into the pits already on those mediums, so he's going to go onto the softs. I don't know if he has damage. Ayrton now, he's set the fastest lap on the mediums, and he's going to be challenging Tier for P4 and trying to get onto these top three who are still nose to tail as we go. And welcome to the stream, by the way, Zach Sweeney. As Rick goes deep into turn 3, and that invites Simps all the way through. Elite settings is really biting Rick there as he misses his braking point, and he's going to be under pressure from Womax now because he's not going to have DRS to Ferrari. Here comes the Bulgarian down the inside of Rick, and he's going to make the move. Rick's going to hold it all the way around the outside. He's going to have the inside for the next corner. Womax goes deep, but so does Simps. Simps is off the track as well. So this is a battle for the race lead between Womax and Rick. Simps is now getting involved again. He's not out of it yet. They're going to be side by side into Cops yet again. Womax and Rick. Simps going down the inside, and that's never going to work. He's gone, and Simps is out of this battle for the race lead. Ayrton is now in it as well as Womax and Rick go side by side through Maggots and Beckett. Surely not. Here they come as well. Oh my word, Womax still just behind Rick. Here they go. DRS for the Bulgarian as he goes down the inside, and Ayrton's going to get involved as well. Both AlphaTauris making use of this. Rick down to P3 and Ayrton down the inside of Womax. He's already into the race lead. What did we say to start this race? He'd already be there, and he is. And Rick tries to make the move around the outside as well. He doesn't quite make it work. And Tier now down the inside the last corner gets a bit squirrely. My voice is going already, and we're only on lap 5. Ayrton 2 round the outside of Tier as into turn 1. They're still side by side into turn 3. Ayrton is going to try and make ground on his teammate now to try and solidify this race victory already, but Ayrton 2 and Tier side by side. Moti Peretz tries to get involved but can't quite do it. Poor exit for Ayrton 2, so here comes Tier once again. with the DRS, but so does Ayrton too. He got it just about from Rick in front. Simps is into the pits for the hard tyre, which is, I think, is a mistake. Because the mediums will definitely go all the way. The mediums will go from the start, I reckon. But it's an AlphaTauri 1-2.
There's contact between Tia and Monty Perez. Tia was along the outside of Luffield and they got a little bit too close together. I'm surprised Tia's managed to keep it going. He was forced out onto the grass there. That was very close between the Haas and the Alpine.
Oh my word, my throat. We're only on lap 5. Normally I segue to you a bit more, Sumo, but oh my word, there's just so much going on. I couldn't ever take my eyes off it. It's Scaparo now trying to get his way past Tia. I think Scaparo's ESRL, so hopefully he has a good race here. Down the inside in towards Stowe. I think he's made that move pretty simply. Tia shifting in position, and into the pits he comes as Ayrton 2 so comes in and gets a 5-second pit lane penalty.
I've just had a little report on I think it was Avi who came in. He's gone in for a very early undercut on everybody else. I think he didn't have any damage. Just came in for his scheduled pit stop and is maybe looking to make up positions after it. But I'm not sure how well that's going to go for the Red Bull driver, considering his current position and the fact that Ayrton is now in the lead of this race.
Yeah, exactly. He's going to be just out ahead of Ayrton 2. Yeah, the Williams.
Oh, we've got a yellow flag.
That's Major again. He's had another spin. The German really not having a good time here in Silverstone, trying to get his way back on the track. And yeah, an opportunity for us to both catch our breaths as Lifebout gets past. Oh yeah, Major's just letting the Mercedes through. So now, after all of that, no one is within a second of another car.
Yeah, certainly so. It was an interesting opening for a couple of laps. I remarked as Tia went very... he took a lot of curb going through Club Corner, the final corner on this circuit, which is what unsettled his car and caused the cars behind him to start going on the attack in the first sector. You saw the front right just leave the ground, which would have unsettled the car and made things much harder as Rick and Monty Perez dive into the pit lane from their scheduled pit stops. But it's an AlphaTauri 1-2.
I think Rick has just thrown away his chances at a podium though. He's gotten a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. So out he comes, and he's going to be in a good position. I think it's going to be close. He's going to be behind Amir. That undercut really working for the Red Bull, actually. Is he going to be behind Avi as well? Watch for the Ferrari.
Oh, he's got an Alfa Romeo off at, is that
Scaparo, yes.
I can't remember the name of that corner. Aintree. Yes, Aintree. Something like that. I think I know all of them now. I made it my duty when I started commentating to know every corner at Silverstone. I feel like I have to.
I bloody don't.
I'm going to the Grand Prix this year. Unbelievable.
I am. Yeah, I know.
So Amir has got himself past Scaparo after this little mistake at Aintree. Amir up into third place. He doesn't have to stop again, so he's going to be hunting down the likes of Ayrton and Womack. But I think Ayrton will be safe from undercut form now.
Yeah, Ayrton will, but Womack's definitely won't. He's got to come in now, and he does. So in comes the AlphaTauri. It's been a really good first stint for him, but I think he might have left this too late, because the Red Bull of Amir is now coming through Stowe, and I think Womack is going to find himself possibly behind Avi here as he comes out the pits. So Scaparo into the pits.
Keep an eye on that dark blue dot just along that little white line there to the side. Yeah, he's definitely coming straight past. Womack hasn't even reached the pit limiter line yet, so Amir's got right out ahead, and I think Avi will as well. Womack is going to come right out in the midst of a battle here between Rick and Ayrton 2. It's going to be very tight. We're going side by side now. I'm trying to remember the corner names. Maybe I don't remember them as well as I do, or as well as I thought of. But Womack comes out in P5. That's not the best showing from him. This could be tight between Ayrton and Amir. They could be racing as Ayrton leaves the pits.
Yeah, I think that leaving it too late coming in the pits has really really cost Womack here. He's couldn't fight Rick with those cold medium tyres because of such a long pit lane, as Ayrton comes into the pits now, so I think he might come out behind Amir actually, which would be very interesting. I think he'll just about jump Avi, but it will be close, as Womack tries to keep up with Rick. He does have the DRS, which is critical. He needs to stay within a second.
Is in the pits then, he's putting on soft tyres. Amir is coming down to the Vale chicane now. I think he might just get ahead of the Red Bull. It's going to be very tight though.
Moti Padet's down the inside of Ayrton, 2 into Vale. Sorry to interrupt you, Sumo, as Simps gets a 3-second time penalty.
Yeah,
Ayrton is behind Amir, so Amir takes the race lead, and Ayrton 2 keeps P6 for now.
Yeah, I think Ayrton's going to catch up quick. He's on 4-lap fresher tyres. Then Amir, who's up ahead of him, he's going to be right on the back of that Red Bull in no time, as De Sola once again spinning at Luffield.
Yeah, he's not having the best time. That's where I'll be next month. Very much looking forward to it. So yeah, Major just putting on a show for me in the standings, clearly, as Moti Padet's down the inside of Ayrton 2, and he's made that move stick, I think. He has indeed, so good move from Moti Padet's actually, up to P6. He's driving pretty well at the moment, as Rick now within a second of Avi and Womack, also within a second of them, but remember that 5-second penalty for Rick is really going to cost him. Ayrton is reeling in Amir. He's going to have 4 laps to go pretty soon, and I think he's going to be within DRS as soon as it comes on to the next straight.
Well, I'm still going through my head of all these corners. But it's Abbey, Farm, Village, Aintree, Brooklands, Luffield, Woodcock, Copse, Maggots, Beckett's, Chapel, Stowe, Vale and Club. Zach will know if I've got all of those right. I mean, I've missed out the straights, but they're easy to remember.
Well, Rick has just gotten past Avi for P3. Simps gets himself another time penalty. He's all the way down in P8, so how the mighty have fallen. He was in the lead of this race at the start, and way down now, the wrong tyre to go on when he pitted. Lostock has also gone on the hards, which is another mistake. But yeah, Avi still keeping in touch with the Ferrari. I think the real battle is going to be for P3 here, as Amir has clearly made an error or something, because Ayrton is now going to challenge him into Copse. Down the inside he goes, and I don't think Amir is going to fight that. He doesn't know. He thought about turning in and doing a Max Verstappen, but nothing there from Amir. Just so I don't get angry comments in my comment section, I hold no official viewpoint on the Hamilton-Verstappen incident at Copse.
I'm not sure you'll get too many angry comments in the chat. Maybe from Rick, our resident Dutchman, and possibly Lifebout as well. But that's about it. I'd have said, but I think we're way past discussing that incident now.
You think so, really? Not from what I see on the internet.
Oh, I don't know. People need to get over it.
They do.
2022, damn it.
Oh, Zach Sweeney has given us all the exact order of all the corners in my chat.
The loop. That's the one I forgot.
Scott's gotten himself a 3-second time penalty. He's the next to do so. Lostock up into P10 on those hard tyres. I don't know how he's driving on those. They're horrible around here. But Lifebout losing out there. Another time penalty for Scaparo as well. Amir is keeping Ayrton honest for now, but how long will that last? As we're on to lap 11 of 13, and the battle for the podium is still going between Rick, Avi and Womack.
Hey Speed, how you doing, buddy? Nice to have you in the chat. Hope you're enjoying the sprint action for the moment, as it looks like Lifebout has gone off there at Farm. That's a shame for the Mercedes driver. He was running fairly well and has found himself in the gravel once more.
Womack is right on the back of Avi. Amir as well is keeping Ayrton honest still. Remember, Amir had his drive of the season as in Season 1 of ESRL at this track, where as Avi nearly, tries to go down the inside of Rick. He forces him to take a wide line, and Rick a little compromised there, but Avi not able to make the move. Womack watches on. 2 laps to go in this race. Amir still just about within a second of Ayrton, but I don't think that's going to last too long. Ayrton gets a much better exit out of, is that Aintree, I think? I'm learning. But Amir has the DRS down towards Brooklands, and he's going to gain all that time back again. Here comes Avi
Rick
for the podium.
Very defensive. He's trying to break the toe, but Avi's going to be all over him. Up the inside of Brooklands then. That's going to turn to the outside. Is it? No, he forces Rick very wide, and it's going to mean a place for the Red Bull driver who is going to leave Rick out to dry. With Womack, who is just behind as well, and they both get time penalties. So the race is over between, as far as Avi, Rick and Womack are concerned, but Rick and Womack, with time penalties, will be able to race with each other still.
Womack will be furious with that one, because it was before he had even reached the corner. Scott gets himself a 10-second time penalty. I don't know how he
Rick
managed
down
that.
the inside as they come into Stowe. Straight away, Rick's got very low ERS there, though he's using a lot of it, but Avi's not got much to play with either. Womack sat pretty on 41% ERS. Scott has now had a bit of an incident at the exit of the loop.
Womack could be on for a podium if Avi gets himself a time penalty. Amir is just within DRS. I think he's going to have it. He is, but he's not going to be close enough to challenge Ayrton for the race lead before the end of this race. We're on the final lap, as Avi knows all he needs to do is just not get a penalty, and he will see himself on the podium. Womack as well is going to be P4 as it stands, because Rick has that 5-second pit lane penalty. Moti Padet still fighting with Ayrton 2 further back as well, but no moves being made. Can Womack get any ground on Avi? He's pushing the Red Bull through Luffield as they come down towards Copse, but nothing being done there. And look at the gap that Ayrton has pulled to Amir already. We know how good Amir is at this track, so it just proves that Ayrton is in pretty much a different league in ESRL. Womack gets a much better exit out of the final corner of Max and Beckett's as they come down the straight towards Stowe. Is Womack going to go for it? He goes for the switch. He goes down the inside, but he has to back out. He's boxed in by Avi, going for the move on Rick as well. And here comes Womack round the outside of Rick. Ayrton wins the race, but we've got to keep on track with these three as they're battling still through the final few corners. Side by side go Womack and Rick again. There's contact, but Womack just about crosses the line. Oh my goodness me, that was very close. Womack gets his P4, Moti Padet's P6, only 2/10 away from a top 5 finish for the Israeli. Great drive for him. Ayrton 2 P7, Simps P8, and Tier finishing in P9 in the end, with Major going in the pits once again. He's doing a Michael Schumacher.
Wow, great way to start this season of sprints then over in ESRL. I felt watching while driving, that might explain all of the incidents during the race then. But that was very close indeed for that final place on the podium, and I think without the penalties it would have been that little bit closer between the three of them, but Ayrton displaying dominance already, started at the back and finishes at the top.
Rick speeding in the pit lane by 2 kilometers per hour.
Wow.
So yeah, it's not easy when that happens. It can be difficult to take, but it's 2 kilometers per hour too many. as he does indeed lose his podium, but still finishes top 5. Ayrton, of course, driver of the day, winning from the back. And still a good result for Amir, though, in P2.
Yes, the constructors will be looking good for the Red Bulls.
It certainly will. Red Bull 2-3. So I think, Sumo, we could have a repeat of the 2 winners of the 50% championship just beforehand. Ayrton winning the drivers and Red Bull winning the constructors. There we go. That's my early call on the championships.
Yeah, that's certainly a safe bet. I mean, Ayrton is greatest of all time according to Speed Alcoholic, and Lifeout was only watching on the last lap, which I wouldn't have admitted in the chat. But anyway, Ayrton does then take the lead, then starting in 13th place. It wasn't last place actually, and finishing on the top step of the podium with the Red Bulls of Amir and Avi joining him. Womax, Rick, Motti Peretz, Ayrton 2, Simps, Tier and Lostock make up the top 10, with Scaparo, Lifebound, Scott and Major Desola rounding off the back of the grid, and Major Desola will start on pole position.
He will indeed. Yeah, he'll be hoping not to bottle it as many times in France. Yeah, Lifebound, I responded in chat, but thoughts on hard soft. You should not be on the hards on a 25% race around Silverstone. You shouldn't be. It just shouldn't happen.
I don't think you should be on the hards ever in a sprint race.
Not really, no. Unless
make an exception for Bahrain, I think.
Yeah, but yeah, just hards in Silverstone in 25%. There's never any reason to. The mediums will go from lap 0 to lap 13. Lifebout apparently had an insane save. I can't remember if we caught that.
No, likely not. We've only got one stream up as well, so there would be even less of a chance to catch that up. Just replying to a comment Zach left earlier. If you want some equally impressive racing action, Zach, you want to go head over and watch the Tier 1 race I just commentated on over from APPF1, because that was insane racing between 11 cars at one point. So go ahead and check that out at Austria if you get a moment. Yeah, incredible stuff, and I'm sure we'll get the same again.
Sure we will. Although it's Monaco next week in APPF1, so that's going to be a spectacle, or lack of. But we got to have it. We got to have it once before the new game, I think. Yeah, it's as we wait for the next race to go, I'm just gonna quickly nip off and get a drink of water. So I'll be right back.
Snap one, yeah, definitely not on the stream. I wouldn't have thought. 8 of you watching now, make sure you've left a like on Go Stream, make sure you've subscribed to the channel if you've not done so already, if you're enjoying all of this racing action from ESRL. It's nice to be back here. I'm not here as often as I'd like to be, but that's because I have to work Friday evenings a lot of the time, but you're graced with my presence this evening. Hello Amir. In the chat, welcome, well done on the P2 there. Ayrton is a very fast driver. I don't know what he does. I don't know, maybe he's actually the spirit of the late great Ayrton Senna himself. Who knows? But he certainly gets that insane pace from somewhere, and to do that on elite settings as well. It's just incredible stuff from him. I think we are about to get going once again. It looks like Scott has readied up. We'll wait for Ghost to get back. but I'm sure he'll be back by the time we get going in Le Castellane in the south of France, I believe it is. The make your own circuit, a circuit that's divisive among fans. I think a lot of fans don't enjoy it, some do. I think the racing is generally rather boring in real life at the French Grand Prix, but as always in the simulated world, the circuits that produce poor racing tend to produce decent racing. France being a great example of that, and it sounds like Ghost is back. And I was going to ask you, Ghost. I'm not sure this is. I think this might be the first foray into sprints for ESRL,
Mhm.
and over on APPF1, of course, you're a four-time sprint championship winner. So, how about you tell these lovely, lovely people just what's the secret to winning a sprint race?
Patience is the secret to winning a sprint race, Sumo. If you if you get too feisty, um, and especially since the sprint seasons are usually around sort of 12 races long, um, if you get too aggressive and you try and win places too quickly, then you'll just end up getting caught in incidents. And if you stay patient and soak up the pressure and stay calm, just make calm moves, and whenever an incident happens, take advantage of it. Um, of course, you've got to be fast, but I think uh, having having beaten quite a few fast people, in some cases faster than me, to some of those sprint titles, I'd say it's patience and consistency is how you win a sprint race, which doesn't, it's not really what the name implies, but that is how you do it.
I'm not getting taken out by Vardy. That's another.
Yes.
Yes. I'm
Or Patty
sure.
Pat.
Yeah, that's it. There you go. Zuba is joining us for this race in France.
Oh,
Hello,
great.
Zuba. It's nice to see you again. It's been a little while. No, we haven't forgotten. And I am just saying that. I don't even know what I'm supposed to have forgotten, to be honest. I'm hoping Ghost would have backed me up there, but
um, yeah, no, we haven't forgotten at all, Zuba. We didn't forget when in the last race you spun at every corner and then crashed out on lap 2. Yeah,
yes, that was it.
yeah, that was it.
Yeah, there you go. Us commentators have got a long memory. But Major Desola then is going to lead us off for the formation lap with Scott just behind. Following that is a Mercedes a lifeboat with the Alfa Romeo of Scaparo in position number 4. Lostock, then Tier and Simps follow on behind with Ayrton 2, Mozzi Perez and Rick rounding off the top 10. Womax, the two Red Bulls of Avian and Mir, NER Ayrton all line up towards the back, and with Zuba right at the very back in competing the last race, and thus has to start from the back, but I'm sure he will make up some positions and then have a big spin or something like that.
I'm
We wish
sure.
Zuba well.
Yeah, it's great to see Zuba back. Haven't seen him for ages. But look at the tyres, Sumo. Every single car except Rick and Lifebout is starting on the mediums. So clearly the drivers think that's the way to go, medium to soft. And I would be skeptical of that. I think if there's an early safety car, they are in deep trouble.
Well, I think if you stopped eating so many Freddos, Zach, you might have time to remember the names of the drivers. We're still clearing up Freddos in the commentary box after you left us.
Yeah. Yeah, found one in the under the drawers. There was a Freddo wrapper the other day. It's just unbelievable. Did you know that poster on the wall there, where you've got the Monaco track? Behind that, there's a secret compartment where Zach stores his Freddos.
No way.
I know, unbelievable. But we're about to get underway for the French Grand Prix. It's Major on pole, of course. Scott lines up in P2, his highest grid position start in ESRL, I think, ever. Sorry, Scott. um, and then Lifebout in P3 on the soft, so he'll be one to watch for sure.
Yeah, I'm riding on board with him right now. I'm going to watch the start for the Dutchman. We're waiting for the lights. It's been held for a very long time.
Yeah, we are.
I'm not sure what's going on. Maybe a glitch in the lobby after Zuba's joining.
Here we go. 3, 4, 5 red lights. And we're underway already. That was quick. Major gets a decent start, but so does Scott. Round the outside, he's going to try to go, but Lifebout gets an even better start, and he's going to go down the inside of Scott into turn 1. There's no love lost between those two. Scott just about manages to not make contact with the Mercedes as Tier into P4. Simps just behind in P5. We've got overtakes happening further back. Side by side go Moti Perez and Rick through turn 3 and 4, and Rick down the inside of Ayrton 2 as well. Great move from the Ferrari.
Now, Williams got caught on the front left of the Avi there, and they've both ruined each other's races. I don't know what I said that with.
Here we go, Lifebout trying to go around the outside of Major. He brakes much later than the Williams, who pretty much lets him go there as Lifebout goes into the race lead. Major in P2, Scott still staying strong in P3 with Simps just behind, and Scaparo and Tier are going to go side by side now into this long right-hander, and Scaparo gets in front, but he goes too much on the inside there, which is an odd mistake, and he loses out to Tier as Scott and Simps also go side by side, and the Ferrari is up to P3. But what a start from Rick, up to P7 already.
Yeah, great start from the Ferrari. Ayrton not already up 4 places. Is it 1, 2?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, we've got more contact further back. Tier and Lostock making contact. Tier locking up into the final corner as well as Scaparo. They're still going to be side by side up towards turn 1. Lifebout sets the fastest lap. Look at that gap to P2 already that he's got as these two are going to go side by side again. Tier trying to find a way through, but just has to stick behind the Alfa Romeo for now as Lostock searches for a way through as well. Amir and Ayrton as well. Lostock goes far too deep, and Amir makes that position up into P8, Ayrton into P9, and Avi, as you said, with that spin earlier, he's trying to recover. He's not actually that far down, only 5 seconds, so still opportunities for him as Rick gets his way up into P4 past Scott.
Yeah, the two Ferraris nearby one another once again. Rick on those soft tyres, that's helped him progress far up the field already. Looking like some decent action already. Lifebout's going to want to try and extend that gap as much as he can so that he can soften the blow when he comes into the pits.
Tier trying to make the move on Scaparo, but he's compromised his own line there as Amir goes down the inside of both of them into the fast right-hander, and Amir into P6 already. What a start it's been for the Red Bull as Tier goes very deep, and he's going to lose the position to Ayrton, I think, and he goes deep again, and yeah, both Alpha Tauris past the Haas. It's been a disaster for Tier, and Major's gone for a spin. He's bottled it once again, and he's going to get in the way of this battle here between Ayrton and Scaparo as Ayrton gets past the Williams, but not for long. Major trying to get back past, but he goes deep. I think that's going to be the place for the AlphaTauri. Ayrton up into P6 already, and Rick sets the fastest lap.
Yeah, he went incredibly deep there. Had to rejoin the circuit. It was all nice and safe and above board from Major Dessler there. Yeah, getting involved there, and it looks like Zuba's... Oh, no, was it Zuba? No, Scaparo. That was very odd. It looked like he just drove off the circuit and got right out of the way, perhaps. Or maybe he lost the rear end. I don't know. It looked very odd to me. We've got a little Major Dessler trying to get back in this race, trying to get himself on the back of Scott. It's not quite going well. Scaparo on the back of his teammate. He's going to get the DRS. They're going to go wheel to wheel, and it's a very long straight down to that chicane there, and Scaparo straight past Zuba in the other Alfa Romeo, and he's going to look to try and chase after Womack's. Ayrton, by the way, P5 already.
Yeah. Certainly is. He's doing what I talked about earlier, just staying patient and staying calm. He knows he's by far the fastest driver on the track, and he doesn't need to make any desperate maneuvers as Major, talking of desperate maneuvers, down the inside of Scott, but he makes it work. And he's back up into P6 with Scott shipping another position, and I think he's going to be vulnerable to Womack's pretty soon as well. Ayrton right on the back of Amir, and Amir is not within DRS range of the top three as Major comes into the pits, in fact, and gets himself a 5-second penalty and retires as well in the pit lane. So clearly he's had enough already. Here comes Ayrton down the inside of the Red Bull. He makes the move pretty easily, gets the fastest lap as well, and he's on his way to win yet another race, but makes a mistake, and Amir is going to go right round the outside again. Good move from the Red Bull to take advantage of that, and Ayrton goes deep again. What is happening to the AlphaTauri there? He's made 2 mistakes in quick succession. We don't usually see that from him, and he's going to be out of DRS range now, and he's going to have had a warning for that. He was definitely off track. Yeah, some weaknesses shown from the ESRL champion.
Yeah, all it takes is a loss of focus just to set you off. One mistake can become 2 mistakes, which could then become 3 mistakes, of course. It can happen all within a blink of an eye. That's motorsport for you. One minute everything could be going well for you, and the next minute, you know, it could all turn upside down, especially in the world of virtual racing, where the connection drops can be killers. As it looks like there's a Red Bull off at the chicane in Sector 2. That's Avi. He's not having the best day. That's really going to affect the Constructors' Championship scores, especially looking at where the AlphaTauris are and the Ferraris.
Lifebelt into the pits, so he's had enough of those soft tyres. Is Rick going to come in as well? No, he's going to follow his teammate to start lap number 5. Amir is 2.5 seconds down with Ayrton right behind him again. It's going to be the same again for the Dane. Down the inside he goes, and he takes P3. And this time I don't think we're going to see any mistakes from the champion. Yep, nope, perfectly fine through turns 1 and 2. Amir still sticking with him. He's going to have the DRS, but if Ayrton gets a fantastic run through this next set of corners, then Amir is not going to have a chance, and that is exactly what is happening.
Yeah, certainly. So it's really important that you get the best run possible through that little section, because it sets you up so nicely for this straight. It is a very long straight down there. It would be even longer without the chicane as well. But that DRS really does help. You can see the closing speed. He's closed half of that time he lost right back up, but I'm sure Ayrton will just open up that gap. Ayrton is incredibly quick, no matter the circuit, and I'm sure that he'll make light work of the guys ahead of him.
Yeah, by far the fastest driver on the grid. As I said, different league really, as Scaparo and Zuba, the 2 Alfa Romeos, are still fighting back here for P7. It's been pretty good so far, as Zuba is sticking with his teammate, to be fair to him. First time back for ages, and Zuba is doing really well here, as Scaparo goes a bit deep. Rick is into the pits further ahead, so it'll be interesting to see where he comes out in relation to whoever pitted the previous lap, Lifebout.
Lifebout is... where's Lifebout? Lifebout is coming through Sector 3 now. He's coming up to turn... I think that's 14, and was that 15? I think 15. So he's coming through the final corner now. He's been stuck behind Monty Perez, which might have slowed him down just a bit. It's not a very long pit lane around here. Rick's already going. I think they're going to be racing as they come out. Lifebout just gets ahead.
Yeah, crucial there for Lifebout. We've got a 3-second time penalty for Zuba, so there goes the fight between the Alfa Romeos, as Rick trying to stay with Lifebout, but Lifebout is getting held up here by the Alpine of Moti Perez.
Oh, there's an Alfa Romeo around. Is that Zuba? It is.
It is. Oh no, as Lifebout hits the back of Moti Perez actually, and that invites Rick down the inside. Fantastic opportunistic move from the Ferrari. He's no slouch in sprint races either. He knows exactly what he's doing here. He was fighting for the title in our other sprint championship in our other league a few seasons ago, Here comes the Ferrari now. He's right behind the Alpine. I think he's going to make the move into the next corner. Huge ERS advantage for the Dutchman. Down the inside he goes. And the move, I think, is going to be made as Moti Pedets goes very wide. Comes back onto the track behind the Ferrari. There's Ayrton into the pits.
There's a lifeboat. Didn't seem to get any visible damage, but that doesn't mean he hasn't got olive. Damage on that front wing, which he might do because he's dropping back quite considerably. Yeah. Amir is reeling him in on those soft tyres there.
Oh yeah, he's into the pits. He's got damage.
There he goes. He'll be able to go on some soft tyres to the end, but that's really going to throw his race down the drain. I think Zuba's following him for his planned pit stop.
Ayrton's coming out the pits. He's going to be right with Moti Pedets as he comes out. Round the outside he goes. Moti had to take avoiding action, but Ayrton is out in P5, right behind Rick, who's going to be seeing the car behind him and thinking, oh no, as he was running well, Rick, at the moment, but I don't think he's going to hold up Ayrton any longer than the next corner, to be quite honest. As Amir gets past Moti as well, who's starting to struggle in comparison to those fresh, soft tyres. Here comes the AlphaTauri on the Ferrari. Look at that ridiculous closing speed, and ahead well before the corner for the Dane up into P4, which is, I believe, a net P1, because Simps, Womack and Scappa are yet to pit.
For the Dane, are we sure this isn't Kevin Magnussen? Really? Like, professional F1 driver, it all makes sense. It all makes sense. We got Lifeboat. He's off on the run down to the chicane there, along that straight for the first DRS. That's a shame for the Dutchman. His day going from bad to worse in this race. Simps has now made his way into the pits. We'll see where he comes out. I think Ayrton is going to get the undercut on all of the guys ahead of him. Scarparo has come in as well. So Womack's the only driver in the front to not come in just yet, as he's leading the race around.
Here goes Ayrton. He's going to be side by side with the Ferrari, but he's just ahead, and that is all he's going to need. And I think it's going to be another very easy race victory for Ayrton. So we change our attention to the battle for P2 between what looks like the two Ferraris for now, although Simps on those soft tyres is going to be much faster than Rick for a while. And in fact, he's stuck with Ayrton through the first sector, which I didn't expect. So he's going to have a run on him up towards the chicane. He's going to have the DRS. Look at this closing speed for the Ferrari. And he's going to go up into the net race lead. Lifeboat's retired from the session. Is that a safety car? No, he's in the pits. So just a retirement there from Lifeboat in the main menu. As Simps gets his way into the net race lead. As I said, Ayrton trying to make a move back again. Round the outside he goes, but nothing being able to be done. But now he's going to put him under pressure for the next corner. I've done this many times. I do like this corner as an overtaking spot, but Ayrton backs out of that one in the end. Simps with a much better line.
Yeah, certainly so. He's just making sure Ayrton's making sure that Simps doesn't forget that he's there. He's getting himself up in the mirrors of that Ferrari up ahead of him, and Ayrton has got so much pace. It's very hard to shake somebody who's much quicker than you, even if you think you've got the advantage over them at any point. And look, he sets the fastest lap, and he was battling as well at the same time. So this man fastest on the circuit right now. He's supersonic with the speed that he's got.
Very, very surprised to see him lose this race, even with Simps in the position he is. Amir is challenging Rick for that final spot on the podium, so Amir has not given up on this championship. Absolutely, I mean, it would be silly to give up on the championship at race 2, but if he can get himself a double podium, he will be in a really good spot for the rest of this season. The two ESRL champions, of course, are Ayrton and Amir respectively, as Ayrton unable to make it past Simps at the next DRS zone, but Amir
around the outside of Rick. He's going to turn to the inside. I think Rick's got the better of the Red Bull for now and closes that door. Keeps Amir at bay for the moment, but Amir's going to be looking to come back at him. They're coming down to that fast right-hander. It goes to the outside. Rick defends the inside line. And the Ferrari comes out ahead once again, and Amir will just look to put the pressure on as they come into sector 3.
Good pressure from Amir, but it's fantastic defending from the Dutchman. Rick wants his first, I believe, his first ESRL podium, as he takes a terrible line through that, and Simps gets a 3-second time penalty. So there goes the race for the race win. Unless there's contact between the top two, as Ayrton sets the fastest lap again and goes down the inside. Simple move for the AlphaTauri. He's back in the lead, and Rick is going to be under pressure from Amir into turn 1 as well. Amir backs out though in the end. He does not want to go side by side with the Ferrari through there, and look at the gap between these two and the top two. It's 6 seconds, so Amir really getting held up by Rick here, I think. But Rick, of course, every right to defend his race position, and he's doing a very good job of it at the moment. Simps is going to have the overspeed on the AlphaTauri once more. Down the inside he goes up towards the chicane, and he makes the move pretty well back into the race lead. But of course that penalty is going to cost him. Amir and Rick side by side again, and this time the Red Bull gets his way through, and I don't think Rick is going to have a way back unless he goes back at him at the next corner. But look at the ERS difference.
Ayrton and Simps for that fast right-hander, and they're still side by side going into the following corner. That was very close. They've switched sides now as Simps continues this defence. It's all in vain though. It's that penalty he's got. It's going to see him go back. There's a little bit of contact coming through the next corner, but Ayrton manages to get the better of the Ferrari.
Amir and Rick side by side as well. They've been side by side at the same time. Rick breaks early to try and get the switcheroo, and he does it perfectly, but there's another corner coming up, but he gets the double switch back, and he's going to have the DRS up towards turn 1. This is a straight fight for the podium, neither of them with penalties. Simps still behind Ayrton as well, but no move being made there, and Rick back into P3. Amir on 30% ERS, Rick on 13%. There's 3 laps to go in this race, and at the moment I can't tell who is going to get on that podium, because Amir's tyres are going to start dropping off towards these last few laps.
Yeah, certainly. So Rick's doing an incredible job to keep Amir behind.
Oh, tank slapper!
Commentator's curse as he makes a slight mistake with a tank slapper, but Amir's still there, but he's going to be he's definitely close enough to make that attack on this straight, and there he goes, pulls over to the inside. Rick has nothing he can do about it. He's got very little ERS in the tank, but Amir doesn't have too much more than the Ferrari, but he does have the position over the Scarlet car and has taken that spot on the podium for now.
Simps and Ayrton go side by side again into the same corner. Simps tries the same thing that he did on the previous lap. Go from outside to inside at that long right-hander, sorry. But it hasn't worked this time. He's still behind the AlphaTauri. They're still nose to tail as they come through sector 2, but Ayrton keeps that position, and of course the penalty for Simps is going to really cost him here. They've still got DRS, and by no means is Ayrton immune to track limits penalties. I think he did have one in the final race last season. So it would be a surprise to see him get one.
Turn 1, he gets the position done. It was a fairly simple move with the DRS and claims the lead, but with that 3-second time penalty, Ayrton is still the race leader as far as the paper is concerned.
Yeah, it would be a surprise to see the Dane get himself a track limits penalty, but he's not quite immune to it. Nearly, but not quite. As they come through now, he's going to have the overspeed again with the DRS. We've got to keep an eye on Amir and Rick as well. 2 battles here. The Alfa Romeo is also battling for P9 further back, but these are the ones to watch. Ayrton tries to go around the outside into the chicane, but no luck there, and Simps gets the better exit, which I don't think Ayrton was expecting. And Ayrton unable to make the move yet, and in fact he's going to leave his ERS and leave it for now. Rick unable to make a move either.
I can confirm that Ayrton is 1 warning away from a penalty.
Oh, okay. So he's not immune. It could still happen. There's a lap and a bit to go. And if he's still battling with Simps as we go on to the last lap, then it could spell disaster for the AlphaTauri. But Difficult to see as he tries to go down the inside. Just a different line taken from the Ferrari. You can take a lot of different lines through that corner. But there's a lock-up from Simps now. And here comes Ayrton with the DRS once more into turn 1. We've seen this twice already. And here comes the Dane. He's going to go around the outside this time and have the inside for turn 2. This is what I like to do around this chicane, and he's made it work. Perfect stuff from the ESRL champion. Rick still behind Amir as well, but he's lost out a little bit, and he's going to have to really put down that throttle in order to get a chance at this podium. Lostock and Scott swapping positions further back as well. Scott down to P7. But we've got to watch this battle for the race lead. Is Simps going to be able to challenge Ayrton? He's going to use all of his ERS down the straight, but so is Ayrton. He's got so much more than the Ferrari, and Simps just with nothing he can do there. Ayrton comes through the chicane, and all he has to do now is get to the checkered flag. Rick is too far back on Amir as well. In fact, he lost out on the DRS. So it looks like these two battles are settled finally.
Yeah, certainly so, but there is always time for a mistake to creep in. I'm not sure Ayrton, a driver of his calibre, would be able to do it, but I've seen stranger things happen in the world of motorsport. But there's only a few corners left. The time on the track is dwindling for these drivers as Ayrton rounds the final couple of corners. It's one more hairpin for the AlphaTauri, for the ESRL champion to navigate, and it's a straight run down to the line. The Ferrari already knows he's been beat, and Ayrton crosses the line to win the second race of the 2 sprints this evening.
Great drive from Simps as well, it's got to be said. 3-second time penalty costing him, but in the end, as Rick crashes over the line, and leaves a lot of debris on the track. Womax finishes a very solid P5, pretty much drove his own race after the first stint. Avi comes home in P6 in the end after a disappointing race. Unless Scaparo can beat him on penalties to the line. Avi had 6 seconds. It will be close. It's a second in. It's Scaparo and Lostock. 4,000th of a second between them. Wow. 7th place for the Alfa Romeo. That was one hell of a drag race to the line. Moti Paretz P9. Scott finishes in the top 10. Zuba finishes the race, which we are very glad to see, in P11. Tia down in P12, and Ayrton 2, a bit of a lonely one, down in P13 for him.
Yeah, retirements and life bout and Major Dessler, not the start to this sprint championship that they would have wanted. Anyhow, Ayrton, of course, getting driver of the day. Once again, he's gone from P14 on the grid to the front for the second time. There's just no beating this man.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fantastic drive from Amir, I've got to say, because he doesn't have. We know he's fast. I mean, he's the season 1 champion. He's very fast. We know that, but he doesn't have the very clear and obvious pace advantage that Ayrton does. So it's when he fights his way up the grid, he is putting on one hell of a drive as well. Not to take too much away from Ayrton, but I think it's important to note that Amir doesn't have the overwhelming advantage that Ayrton does. But anyway, it is a win for the Dane. Once again with Simps, a great drive from the Ferrari in P2, and Amir rounding out the podium. And then we've got Rick, Womax, Avi, Scaparo the Swede, Lostock in P8, Moti Paretz, Scott, Zuba, Tia and Ayrton 2, and then Lifebout and Major unable to finish. Good result for the newbie, Scaparo.
Yeah, certainly so. He's definitely proved his mettle amongst the ESRL elite, I suppose.
And yeah, great start to the ESRL Sprint Championship, the inaugural Sprint Championship in this league. I hope to see much more of that as the season goes on. 5 weeks to go. It's 2 races in each round, and I'm very much looking forward to it. I don't know about you, Sumo.
Yeah, certainly so. Hopefully I can make a few more of these, as I do enjoy my short stints over here in ESRL, where there's some awesome elite settings racing. And if you'd like to see more Elite Settings racing over on ESRL, then please make sure you subscribe to Gho's channel and like the stream. We've got 7 likes on the stream, which is very good. I think there's about 7 people watching, so very good stuff.
Yeah, thank you everyone. 8 likes on the stream,
Even
and
more.
getting it up to 10 would be fantastic. I'm getting close to 100 subscribers as well, which would also be nice.
It's stagnant on 76.
I'm still standing strong on 93. I don't know when I got to 90. That can't have been that long ago, so we can definitely get it to 100.
77.
Yeah, make sure. Nice. Yeah, go ahead. Make sure to like the stream. We've got 9 likes now, so clearly a couple of more people watching. Subscribe to my channel and go over to Sumo's channel as well. I know he doesn't stream the ESRL races, but show him some support. He's also a fantastic commentator and racer. But yeah, thank you all for watching. It's been a pleasure as always for ESRL. And I'm looking forward to the rest of this sprint championship. Yeah, I don't think there's anything more to say. Anything more from you, Simon?
No, it's cool to see some sprint races coming over into another league, and I think these guys are going to put on a show each week for us. But I think that's all I've got to say on the matter.
And me too. So without further ado, thank you all for watching. I have been Ghost.
And I have been Sumo.
And we will see you next week for more ESRL Sprint. Goodbye.
Goodbye, guys.